We are live. What is going on, everybody? Who we got in here? You got any? We got Lorga. What is going on, Lorga?
My bonbon seems to. Oh, the green cheese is so black. That's weird.
Mario's eating a bomb pop.
Oh, like the color change to black in the bonbon.
All right, so here, go. Eat your bomb pop. Go, 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 go. I just went on live. So I got an awesome guest here today. Fine gentleman. He's part of the Four Horsemen. He's straight from Puerto Rico. My man Ron just did a live stream with Kathleen. And now he's going for a doubleheader, man. This guy's a pro. So we'll get him in here to talk to you guys that are in here with me. What's going on, Janae? Got four people. And we'll get this show on the road.
Hey.
What is up?
Good evening, Chino. How are you tonight?
Oh, gosh. I am so tired. Mario, go. I'm beat. I worked my butt off today.
What project you had on hand that you were working with?
I was building a new snake rack.
Oh,
Hey, what's going on, Tom? How are you, sir?
a new snake rack. What you got more holdbacks, or you're actually adding more snakes on?
Well, I mean, I still got clutches to hatch. So
You still got clutches this late in the season?
Yeah, I actually cut a clutch yesterday. Pastel Orange Dream to Fire Spot Nose Pinstripe.
Ooh.
And I think I hit two 5-jeans.
Oh, wow.
So OD Spot Nose Firefly pins. I think I hit two of them. So
That's damage right there.
Hopefully I get a male and a female, and I'll hold back both. Maybe.
And the total of how many eggs altogether you got out of that clutch?
5.
Okay, that's good numbers.
I've never hatched out OD before. So
Really?
Yeah, no, this is my first OD clutch. So, I'm kind of learning. I see that these snakes look a lot brighter, but I won't know until I go back at the video and look at my original reaction when I cut open the egg, and then when they shed and say, okay, well, this is OD. Look back and because I like to study it so that I'm better at figuring out what's in the egg.
Yeah, with all those genes, you have basically spot nose. That's a darkening gene, but OD is a cleaning and it's an enhancing gene. You'll be able to tell OD with no problem.
Well, when you mix spot nose, pastel, and fire,
pastel is like, I'd say it's the OD's kryptonite, because when you get them together with pastel, I mean, unless it's extremely bright, and the experience I've had with pastel and orange dream together is it's less muddy. In other words, it's a lot more cleaner.
Yeah,
and you'll be able to see that difference, because that's what orange dream actually brings into pastel.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I'll wait till them to wait for them to get the eggs. We'll see how they look. And then I got one more clutch left. I got it's due on the 14th of December. It's the last clutch of 2020. 8 big eggs. It was Mojave Orange Ghost genetic stripe male to a pastel female.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going for just double heads.
Double heads.
Yeah. Then holding back, I got this male on like a trade. I traded somebody like a lot of crested geckos and even a gargoyle for him, and it was like a really awesome snake. But I don't know. Genetic stripe really didn't really catch me so much.
Mm-hmm.
But it was this male, and I figured, you know what? It's a double recessive male. I might as well keep it. And I have so many orange ghost projects, so I kind of put him on the bench. and then I did a live stream with Shane, and Shane was talking about genetic stripe, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah, you hit him right there with a double header right there because Chain is a genetic stripe hypo guy. I mean, like those are like his top priorities of genes that he actually works in his collection.
Well, I don't plan on keeping many. And
Oh,
then
really?
yeah, because I also bred him to, who's now starting 2021 season. I bred him to a pastel Enchi, het orange ghost female.
Okay.
So I if I hit, I love Enchi, so I'd love Enchi into the mix. How are you, Petals and Scales? So, I got that, and I got my first clutch of 2020 that I can't even, my brain is a little off. I'm hoping that a little bourbon will balance me out. I was telling Ron backstage, I built this rack today. I built a a snake rack, and melamine rack, 16 high, and I made it 3 sections. I did a 4 on the bottom since I'm in upstate New York. It's clearly a little bit cooler, with the heat and all that. So I like the bottom to be on its own zone, and then the 2 other 6 highs will be in a separate zone. Oh, Vinny, you like that, right? I know the guy who makes this shirt. VIP Morphs.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I'm actually his shirt guy. So this shirt right here, this side. This shirt I produced in house.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah. But so I was doing the melamine rack, and we're, the cuts aren't perfect. Like, they're good, but they weren't perfect. And on the second rack, the first rack, everything was squared perfectly, and then the second rack, which was the second trip to Lowe's, it was the shelf was lined up on one side but not on the other, and my son is like holding it up, and then he was trying to prep it, and I'm like trying to bend the melamine like you would like working with regular wood.
Mm-hmm.
And I had so much force trying to persuade it so that we could screw it in that I literally smashed myself in the face with like a 23-inch by 33-inch piece of melamine.
That's gonna leave a mark.
So I got a little mark, but it's hard to tell. My face it's rounded now over here.
Tomorrow it'll color up real nicely.
I know. I hope so. I hope it's nice. Battle scars,
Yeah, it's a good conversational piece.
Lorga. What's going on, Dan Goodrich?
Largo GS Serato. He's from Russia. We got a Portuguese Russian online right now. And I mean, like, props for him, because right now, my goodness, it's probably like 5 a.m, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I like Lorga. And he's young, isn't he? Is he like 15 years old?
Yeah, he's 15, but he looks like he's 30.
Yeah, that's because he's in Russia. It's a harder living over there.
Yeah.
And I hear in Russia, you get sexual maturity at like 8 because it's so rough over there.
Yeah, I mean, like, heck, he could tell you a lot of stories.
Oh, I'm sure. I got some Russian friends that are funny, but I don't mess with them.
It's funny because I was on a cruise and I saw a bunch of Russians and they were playing dominoes. And you can't hold back a Puerto Rican when you see some guys playing dominoes. So I sat on the table with them. I was like, guys, deal me in. I was like, no, it's Russian dominoes, not the same. And I was like, okay, let me just sit down and watch you guys play. It definitely wasn't the same.
Yeah, I've never played dominoes, and my father, it was like a big dominoes dude in the Philippines. But He didn't like me playing gambling games. He wasn't into the gambling. He said, you know, you watch too many people ruin their lives over gambling.
Mhm.
So like me, I'm going to be 38 in less than 2 months, and I've never spent $1 in a casino.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never.
You haven't even bought those scratch and sniffs? I mean, like the scratch offs in New York?
Scratch and sniff.
Yeah, I mean the scratch offs. I mean, like the scratch and sniff. I think they're 50 cents more, but I'll talk about the scratch offs. You never bought those scratch offs? When
I have done it, and I when I buy scratch offs, I feel like extremely guilty after
yeah,
when I lose my money. Yeah, and I've done that. You ever do the quick draw?
yeah.
The quick draw is horrible, and you know I learned it the hard way because I was, you know, I would bartend at a bar, and my tip money I would be playing quick draw with my tip money, and some nights I left with, you know, extra money, but a lot of nights I left like a lot less money. You know, I was like, damn it, I just worked for free. I just worked for my shift meal and my shift drink. You know.
Yeah, right now, as far as gambling, if anything, I have to say the most I probably go into gambling is probably investing in a new project. I mean, like I think that's my newest vice. I don't actually go to casinos anymore.
Well, it's kind of like that meme, you know. You don't want your kid to get into it. It started with cars. You don't want your kid to get into drugs and get him a muscle car, you
Oh
know.
yeah,
And then I've seen it with snakes.
yeah. I seen that same meme that they show one on crack, the other one on meth, the other one on something else, and the other one investing in snakes.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I did a mild investment and I picked up 2 snakes from Salvatore.
Oh, Sal Gomez.
Yeah, so he's been talking to me about it, and you know, he loves his candy. You know, that's why I fuck with him, call him the Candy Man. You know,
Yeah, I call him Stranger with Candy.
stranger with candy.
Yeah, Stranger with Candy.
He's in a Prius with curtains. um, so he had 2 pastel double het, well, 100% het candy, and then 50% possible het pied. And it's a perfect candidate for my pied het albino. So I can
As
go
a
for
matter of
pied
fact,
candinos.
As a matter of fact, I think I talked to him the last time. He sold one off to Nerd, and all they did was look at a belly shot of that possible head pied, and they took it. They took it. So they saw something on that. They
On a
saw that head
candy.
knocker on
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, that one was a visual. Yeah. So out of the two, one of them clearly has the markings. The other one, I've seen pies produced where they have just like a kind of like, it's not a solid lip rip, but you can kind of see the symmetry on both sides.
Mm.
And so we'll see. Either way, you know, if I hit a Candino and then go with Candino and then it'll be 100% het pied because of the father, I'm happy with that, you know.
Oh, huge shout out to my brother and partner in crime, Shane Kelly.
Shane in the house. Is Shane back tomorrow on tomorrow's show?
No. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact, I got a special guest. I got Peter, as a matter of fact, Peter Legato from Russia. He's filling in for Shane tomorrow.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, I mean, like we're both excited. Shane is on a special assignment, you know, and I needed someone to fill in. Also, thank you very much last week for filling in again for him. And
no
this
problem.
time, I figured, you know what, let's keep making it international. And I reached out to Russia. You know, I got my visa cleared and everything, and you know, I got the okay from the Kremlin. So he's all set to be, guesting tomorrow.
It's awesome. It's really awesome.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
got
like
nothing but to feed
that
snakes.
guy, that guy. To tell you the truth, he works maternal incubation, and he succeeded with them real good. And with it's so interesting, basically, knowing what the market is on that side of the world, and how he goes over to Ham, and when Ham was actually working. So it's going to be real interested giving his point of view of what the projects and what the hobby looks like on that side of the world.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah. I know nothing about the market in Russia. You know, whether what's there, because I think that's the coolest part of different countries. Certain genes are local in other countries.
Yeah,
So
as a
maybe
matter of fact,
someone.
it's surprising, as a matter of fact, because that's something I like to do. I like to the same way I browse Murph Market internally, I like to look at Murph Market with the European market, and I also like to see YouTube channels from other breeders like Indonesia, obviously Russia. That's where I met Peter, and so many different areas just to see what they are working with, because it's always an idea that I could probably use sometime in my future projects. So I just love to see what they're working with.
There he is, my buddy Castro.
Good evening, Castro. How you doing? Killer Low, I'm liking it. Smashing it. It's looking real nice. That's the cool thing that I like, actually, when starting out in the hobby,
Oh,
everyone's
let's see.
logo is so individual to them. And you see some crazy and some great ideas with concepts of different types of logos people actually take advantage and make.
Yeah, and that logo is definitely it's very complex. It's simple but complex. And the reason why I say that is because I made that logo into a face mask, and
Oh, really?
I had to do it three
That
layers.
Wait a second. That looks like one of those Mexican masks that they use for the lucha libre, like Rey Mysterio Jr. type of stuff.
It's cleaning poop, Castro. That's what everyone does. It's like you're open about cleaning poop as a reptile breeder. Like, what are you doing? Just cleaning some snake poop. Oh man, my pouches. I need my nicotine fix. Sorry.
Yeah, late night poops. I definitely I let them basically do whatever they have to do in the evenings. I wake up. As a matter of fact, that's what I do. My morning routine when I wake up before I even do anything is the first thing I do is I come into my snake room and I just go over and I go over whatever damage was done the night prior.
Oh yeah, because you know that there's damage. I it feels. Hold on.
Natural Libre.
Woo!
Good night.
Dang it. Fucking allergies. Um, I if I feel like whenever I walk into near the snakes at nighttime, all I hear is sharks. You just hear that signature wet poop sound.
Yeah, it's funny because not too many often. I mean, like this is my adult snake room, and that's where I have my main computer. And not too often do I actually turn on my PC in the evening. And that rare chance when I'm actually online doing whatever, and if I'm up here late and I hear like an explosion, I mean, like the first time I actually heard it, I mean, like I freaked out. And when I try to zero in to see where that sound came from, I would just see like a big black spot, and I'm like, oh my god, my snake exploded.
That's why I'm like, if I ever go with ARS, I definitely want to go
The clear ones,
with the
the clear vision.
polycarbonates. Yeah, because you're gonna see it. Like 'cause especially like how clear they are. Who's he calling Nacho Libre?
No, no, because we were talking about the mask, the wrestling mask with the Castro design, and
Oh,
I made the reference that it looks like one of those lucha libre Mexican masks. And Shane obviously came up with the Nacho Libre.
good old Shane. I gotta get Shane back on. Get back on the show. I need to get him back with me over here on YouTube. He was actually not on my page yet, so I don't know. Maybe we can get him back on a YouTube live stream.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I want to give a special shout out because Chris Eaton did an episode, 15 minutes of lame, and Shane was one of the 15 minutes person on. And Chris is running a contest, as a matter of fact, that he is actually taking every person that was segmented on his 15 minutes of lame during this whole year, 2020, and the one that gets the most votes wins their own segment. So I just want to
Nice.
put it out there. I want to put it out there basically that Shane got his 15 minutes. So guys, as soon as Chris Eaton, I think he's going to start putting it up in December 1st. As soon as he puts it up there, hit that up, man. We gotta represent and push Shane because he got a lot to say. And I would love to hear like a 2 hour segment with him talking on there. He could give Chris Eaton, his money for the hypo Jade.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, now hypo's actually going up in price a little bit, I think.
Yeah, but I think every time Chris talks about hypo, he gets like a nervous twitch about it because I don't know, he had a bad experience with that specific G that he hates on it so much.
Yeah, there's a few people that hate on it. It's crazy. That's just fine. More power. Let me have more of them.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I mean, like when I saw hypo wasn't even on my radar to tell you the truth. And it wasn't until I saw a video that Miguel and ARP did with the hypo black pastel hypo clown. And when I saw that, I mean, like I was like, I need hypo. I need hypo. And as a matter of fact, that's a project that I'm working right now. I do have the hypo, actually double head hypo clowns in my collection growing up. Now the other equation is the black pastel part that I'm trying to get into it, so I can complete that combo. El perro
Crazy cat.
loco.
Crazy cat Heisenberg? Is that
No,
is
el perro loco is crazy dog, mad dog,
crazy dog? Oh
mad
yeah,
dog.
the gato. El gato is the. I'm rusty, man. I told you I don't speak Spanish ever anymore, so my Spanish is shot. I need to work a couple shifts at my old job.
No, you'd be surprised, as a matter of fact. In New York, I mean, like even the Chinese knows more Spanish than me. I joke about that so much. I mean, like going over there, walking to Chinatown. I mean, like, and this is a New York joke, as a matter of fact, because I remember walking through Chinatown and growing up as a kid. The only experience I had with reptiles when I first started was actually walking through Chinatown because you would see the fish markets, and the fish markets you would see turtles, you would see frogs, and all that. And me walking into that fish market, I remember telling my mother, I wanted a turtle, and my mother. She's like one of those typical Puerto Ricans in New York that only knew Spanish and would talk to me Spanish, but they know English. But I would respond back in English because I didn't know Spanish. That's like the basic lingo
Yeah.
with Puerto Rican kids up in New York. So we would walk into that fish market, and I'd be like, I want that turtle, and the Chinese guy was like, okay, okay. So he takes the turtle out the tank. He flips it over with a meat carver, and right there he was about to take a swing on it. I was like, no, 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 no. And he looked at me like, no, a pet. I want it as a pet. He looked at me and was like, you want a turtle as a pet? I mean, like I walked out of the fish market with the turtle, but that was my first experience actually having a pet, and it was up in Chinatown.
Really?
My mother wouldn't let me take a frog. I mean, like they were too big. So at least I left out with a turtle.
And tasty.
You've eaten turtle?
Frog. I want to eat turtle.
Oh, frog.
Come on.
Yeah, I've eaten frog legs. I mean, like, yeah, that's a tradition. As a matter of fact, I would go up to City Island, as a matter of fact, and that's like my favorite eating ground. Going up and eating frog legs up there in City Island.
Yeah. I actually got a turtle in Chinatown when I was a kid too, but it was the little red ear sliders when they're
the
hatchlings.
red ear spiders, and that's the funny thing. I mean, like that's what I'm joking about, that they know more Spanish than me, because that one time I went with my wife to New York and she doesn't speak English, and we're walking through, and they're selling those little quarter-sized turtles, the red ear sliders, and she was telling me in Spanish, she was like, those things grow, and the Chinese guy's like, no, queda pequeño, queda pequeño. He was like, no, they say small, they say small.
Yeah, bullshit.
I look at homeboy. It's like, yo, check this guy out making a sale in Spanish. I was like, yo,
Yeah, man, the hustle is hard in Chinatown.
yeah, man. I mean, like, but I love it. I mean, like, that's my stomping ground, as a matter of fact.
So Lou Balls. I grew up in Westchester. I was bridging tunnel. So I grew up in Westchester. I moved to upstate New York in 2006. So I'm past Albany. But I never lived in the Bronx, but I partied a lot in the Bronx. And I ate a lot in the Bronx. And I did a lot of clothes shopping in the Bronx.
Fordham Road, huh?
Fordham Road, man. I had Bugs Bunny smoking a cigarette on a $4 T-shirt, you know. And it was funny because when I was a kid, you know, I was always so like, you know, when you're a kid, you think too much about crap, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, like everybody had like the little cost, the little alligator on their shirt.
The cross, yeah.
Tommy Hilfiger, and everybody had nice clothes, and I was like, man, I'm wearing all Bronx shirts, you know. I'm wearing like different cartoon characters, like thugged out, you know. And I was jealous of everybody else, but everybody else was jealous of me. They wished that they had the shirts I was getting, you know. And I mean,
when I was a kid, man, there was I used to go to Delancey, as a matter of fact, and Delancey, they would have these, and I'm talking back in the days. I'm talking about like early days. The thing back in those days was actually the iron-on press shirts, and you know, they would do that spray things all over the shirts and everything. That was it. I mean, like after that, then everyone was rocking Adidas shirts and stuff, or Feli's. You know, but I mean, like it was down to the land to get those iron-on shirts.
well, we didn't do the iron-ons, but definitely the pressed Bugs Bunny. I remember I had my favorite one was Tasmanian Devil. Every year I got a new one, the Tasmanian Devil. All thugged out, was like crisscross, backwards pants sagging. You know,
jump.
Oh my god.
Oh man,
Vinny Meyer is a city guy too. Richmond Hill, 118th Street.
yeah. My stomping grounds when I was growing up in New York was on the Lower East Side. As a matter of fact, when we were a kid, as a matter of fact, I was born here in Puerto Rico. But my parents, they basically took us when I was months, and we lived in Avenue C for like a few years, and then after Avenue C, we made the transition to basically to the Lower East Side, which is across from One Police Plaza, and
Okay.
that's basically that whole entire time, basically until I came down to Puerto Rico.
So you really were moving it up to the Lower East Side with the song "Moving On Up."
Oh, who doesn't know the Jefferson? Yeah, to the east side, we finally got a piece of the pie. I still watch the reruns on Pluto.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I just canceled regular TV, so I don't get to watch any of that stuff. I have to go like on the Fire Stick and look them up now.
Yeah, but Pluto is a free app, as a matter of fact. And what I like about that app, and oh my God, we're not even talking about snakes, but we'll get to it. I mean, like, we got time.
Yeah.
What I like about that is basically they're old school. I mean, like, I don't know if you remember the show, The Greatest American Hero.
Yeah.
I watched that on that show, on that app, and it's a free app. Like I said, you see Knight Rider, you see Charles in Charge, you see Growing Pains. Oh my God, you see all these old shows, especially Carol Burnett's. You get all those old shows, and as a matter of fact, the other day, because I have satellite TV here, and I called to cancel it because I'm seeing so many options that are available, you know, now with smart TVs. And when I called them up, salud. When I called them up and said, "Listen, I'm going to cancel," it was like, "No, you can't do that. We'll drop your price half off." And they gave me half off. I said, "Well, you know what? I'll stay with that because basically, since I do live on an island, the internet is not always a guaranteed thing. So, like one day we got no electricity or anything like that, I'm stuck without TV. I'll just plug up my generator, and then basically I still got my satellite running.
Yeah, yeah. I can't imagine. It's because the internet with satellite. I mean, maybe it's faster. By me, the satellite internet's horrible. It's so
Yeah, no, I
slow.
don't. Yeah, I don't deal with satellite internet. The only satellite I talk about is like DirecTV and stuff. But we do have options of satellite internet here because it's open skies down here, But it's too expensive. It doesn't, when you're competing against, like for example, my local internet provider, they offer me 300 megs, and I'm only paying like $54 a month,
Oh
versus
gosh.
if I pay 256 megs with HughesNet, for example, and they're charging me almost like $300 a month. I was like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I get gypped on my internet because it's monopolized. It's for some reason Time Warner Cable, which is now Spectrum, you can only get their internet. So you can either get satellite that's slower than DSL, or if you want something that's at least 100 megs, then you got to go with Spectrum. And Spectrum kills you. I'm paying $75 a month for just basic internet.
Oh wow.
And the Verizon lines. So in front of my house, there's a manhole where I park my car. I park my car right on top of a manhole. And I want to say at least 10 years ago, I watched Verizon run the fiber optic lines in the sewage drain. That's how they ran them 10 years ago, and it's still not available in this area.
Oh wow.
I would prefer Spectrum kills you. What they do is you set up a new account, and then it's $49 a month. But then after a year, it goes right up to $75 plus tax. So I'm paying like $82 a month, and you can't. There is no dropping it back down.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's basically, it's monopolized all over. I mean, like, once they corner their area and stuff, and they keep expanding, it's not like you got a competition with anyone else. But it is what it is.
Chris is a douche to everyone. Chris is an angry man. The fat man.
But he's yeah, Chris. I got to tell you, Chris is a New Yorker. Chris is a New Yorker, and the way I see it is, who hasn't rode in the trains growing up in high school, and had to face your mama jokes. So we New Yorkers and stuff like that, we brush things off. I mean, like, come at me, I don't take anything to heart. But Chris
Yeah.
goes to the throat. Chris really, I mean, but he's entertaining. He's extremely entertaining when he does that. But then again, that's a New Yorker with him. So I basically take it as an entertainment point when he messes around with a lot of people, especially with the 15 minutes of fame or 15 minutes of lame.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if one wasn't in this so long and stuff like that, sometimes he would scare you away of even wanting to start up in the business.
Yeah. Well, he is. He does have that old school feel to him.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish he didn't talk so much shit about my favorite reptile expo though.
Oh, the White Plains one.
Oh my god, man! He fucking roasts White Plains so badly. He makes me not even want to be there, and I love that show.
Well, let me tell you something. He trashes two shows. As a matter of fact, if it's not Daytona, it's the White Plains one. I mean, like,
God.
I still want to go to I've never been to Daytona, and I obviously have to go to White Plains.
Dude, he lives 5 minutes from it, and he fucking badmouths it. Let me tell you, all right, just to get this clear about White Plains. I've been vending White Plains for 4 fucking years, and I've never brought home a mite. So don't believe that bullshit that if you just walk in the door, you're gonna get mites. That's
No,
not
but
true.
let me tell you something straight up about Chris. Chris is the
Mike
person that
Plains.
shames you. Chris is the type of person that will shame you to be better. Chris will shame you to be better, because one thing that Chris would always say in his shows, is when he's talking about, if you got a $10,000 snake or $5,000 snake and you want to sell, that, get the fuck out of here with your cell phone taking pictures of that. Go full out and invest in a camera. I invested in my camera. Then he's talking about, when you're vending, don't come up with these coffee cake pans or
Wonton soup
your
containers.
granddaughter's birthday spreads tablecloth. Get your own, make it look nice and presentable. And I had an experience at one time that a friend of mine's, he lent me a display. I've never vended in my life. This was my very, very first vending. And I wasn't prepared for it. I mean, like, I missed 4 different shows here in Puerto Rico because even though I had the animals, I never had displays. So there was this big one that was coming up, and a friend of mine's, he lent me his display. It wasn't a real, those typical ARS displays or anything like that. It looked like basically the size of the water bowls, but it was inside it was inside a PVC case with a glass top. And right next to me were other peoples that did have ARS displays. And I had some kick-ass snakes in there. And I literally saw people just walk by my table, holding their nose up while they would actually go to the other ones just because of the display. So it really did make a difference. Now, what I did is my last venue to Tinley, I went and I invested in some kick-ass displays. I got some beautiful, beautiful displays. I brought them here to Puerto Rico. I was like the only one who had them. They were like neon green. As a matter of fact, they were the same color as your logo. I'm like, beautiful, beautiful displays. And I even got the light up logo and everything. First day I put it up, the coronavirus hit.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even use it. I only used it once just to show it off. I sold the hell of snakes just because of the displays. But the idea is that basically that, it's right there. I shine it, I polish it every night. And as soon as everything runs over, I'm setting that up. But the thing is because Chris would shame you to better yourself. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah. I mean, so like this next show, if it does happen, so White Plains, they haven't gone public with it yet, which makes me nervous. Just because the numbers are really rising in New York. But
yeah, I heard they closed the school down. As a matter of fact, I heard all the schools
in New York City, like my kids are still going to school full time.
Okay.
But so White Plains, the county center, the military came in and turned it into a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
It's not being used, but let's say shit hits the fan. It's ready to go. Where if they got to take in 200 patients, they'll be able to take in patients over there, and be able to help people. And he just decided to just close the building down. The building shut down. The military came in. It took them a week to set it up, and then it's been set up since I want to say April.
Okay.
But Bruce, the one that does that show, so Bruce is like the man. He's the one that does the Long Island show, White Plains, and New Hampshire. He was able to hold on. He was able to switch it. So in Nanuet, New York,
mm-hmm.
Give me a wipe. He was able to switch it to where a closed down Sears, a massive Sears. So it's going to be the second week of December. So I'm preparing because hopefully New York doesn't shut down, and hopefully I can do some vending. And I'm gonna have my displays, but I'm also gonna have containers. The deli cups. The bigger ones for the snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Because my displays, I have 3 displays that hold 6 spots. Those are for geckos. And then I have 3 displays that have 4 spots. Those are for snakes. I'm going to probably bring like 30 snakes, and probably if I can bring 100 geckos, I'm going to bring 100 geckos.
And we're talking about December?
December, second week of December. It's either going to be a Saturday or a Sunday. So my fingers are crossed because I really need it. You know, my next show after that lined up is New Hampshire, and I kind of built my business up with shows, and we're at I went from I went from 7, sometimes 8 shows a year to I've only done 2 shows this year or
Oh
3.
wow. Yeah. Well, yeah. But like I said, because of what's going on with the issue with the COVID and stuff, I mean, like it's set back a lot of people. As a matter of fact, those people that wholly depended on shows, I imagine. I mean, like they must have real, they have issues with holdbacks because
Uh oh.
since they can't take most of them to shows and stuff, and if they did not rely on social media or even another platform and only relied on shows, I mean, like unless they're raising up their own feeders, be it insects or rodents, um, they're good for that year. But the only problem is holding on to extra stock, running out until the following year when things starts opening up.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, the way I'm looking at it is it's easier to sell an older snake. So whatever doesn't sell, I'm not gonna sell anything below market value. I'll just keep feeding it. I'll
Well,
get
I haven't. Let me tell you something because I live in Puerto Rico, and the issue here in Puerto Rico and stuff is we don't rely too much on Morph Market or FedEx or anything like that to move our animals locally and stuff. And this season, even though I produce fewer snakes than I produced last season, with the whole issue with the COVID and everything, it hasn't affected, and I have not had to see myself dropping a value on any of the animals that I produced.
that's
So
good.
I feel that basically because of what's going on with COVID, more people has all this extra time to actually, they're killing time. They're bored. They're surfing, looking, into certain things, and they're picking up as much as they can. So I mean, like where I kind of feel because of social media and everything, we're doing an Amazon, right now with sales. If you don't wholly rely on shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it breaks down to like pricing wise. So my first mentor, I have quite a few really good mentors that are there for me, and it's nice because now I have, it's just different people I can pick their brains. But the original person that put me under the wing was John from Snake Man's Exotics. He's out in Long
Mhm.
Island. And when I first started producing, what he said to me was, "Never sell yourself short. Don't undersell yourself to get rid of an animal. Hold on to the animal. Get the price you want to get for it. If you're putting out good animals, someone's going to get that older animal and be so happy with it, and they're gonna come back." And my first year that happened, I had a couple snakes I held back. But then what happened was when the next year came, everyone's looking for snakes, and everything they found was hatchlings of that year. And then all of a sudden they see for $20 more, they're getting a snake that's a year older and 3 times the size. So it worked out for me in the long run.
That's the other aspect of actually when you're working with animals. If you're in the mindset that you're thinking that you're going to produce X amount of clutches and you're going to sell it in 6 months and make your money back, um, and you're seeing that it's already reached that 6 months, and you feel like, you know what, I got to get rid of these animals, I got to sell them. That's when I feel it goes back to your breeding plan. And what I mean by that is when I personally go through a breeding plan, there's two things that I look at. If I have to hold on to an animal, it has to be an animal that I like. So I'm gonna make what I like first, and then
Yeah.
what I end up doing, and it's been working for me ever since. I started thinking about that, and I've been doing this for like 8 years. My hatchlings, they don't last more than 3 months after I already produced them, and any snakes that I hold back are my personal holdbacks. That when I have someone inquiring that they want something specific, um, I choose or I decide if I want to let something go. But what I'm letting go is actually the snakes that I hold back for myself, which goes back to what I'm saying, producing something that if I have to hold on to, it's going to be something that I like, something
Oh
that
yeah.
I plan to keep. And the other thing also is you undersell yourself once, they will never forget you, and they will always expect that undersell sale every time you produce and make something. So if you sell, like say you made a genetic stripe hypo and you decided to sell it for $75, when you make a genetic stripe hypo clown, don't expect more than 250 because you sold the other one for 75, and they'll expect that from you.
Oh yeah. And just like what you were saying, and then Vinny VIP Morphs commented, um, with my experience with this, and when people ask me what advice do you give to a breeder, like how do you choose what morphs to work with? I tell everybody, you choose what gives that wow factor. You choose what you're gonna love. That you choose that animal that is gonna shit all over that tub, and you're gonna be fine with cleaning it up. It doesn't matter, it's something that you're passionate about. You know, you pick your morphs by the passion, and you know it may work out. The market may follow it. That's what happened with my clown hypo project. 3 years ago, I had friends looking at me like, dude, 4 years ago, why are you investing so much in clown hypo? And I was like, because I like it. There was no, oh, but it's double recessive. The odds are so bad. Oh my God, hold on one second. What is going on? My nieces and nephew just checked in. The Delsey sisters. Look at those beautiful girls. Oh my God, they're in North Carolina. I love them so much. What is going on, Zoe and Alyssa? Jenny is passed out on the couch right over there. And I won't wake her up because you can't wake up Jenny. Jenny's the kid that if you wake up, she goes crazy. But yeah, so I stuck with that project, and that was before a lot of people were the double recessives were popular. Everybody was kind of sticking with single recessive, and I was like, I'm just going to keep on doing it. I bought a female. I bought a bunch of female hypos. I had a clown head hypo, and I bred them together to produce the double recessives. And I mean, now we're going 4 years in. It's going to be the 5th year, and I'm going to have a ton of females that are going to be dropping eggs soon in that project. So
Yeah,
it was perfect timing.
And I mean, like, if anyone has a success story with sticking with something, it definitely has to be Ozzy. Ozzy, he would joke around basically when he started out with Orange Dream, how much shit he would get from a lot of people, especially the big time breeders. They would tell him, why are you wasting your time with that specific morph? Now, Orange Dream is like on a whole level. And basically it made Ozzy that specific gene. And now it's even impossible to actually catch up to whatever he's working in because he's light years ahead because he's stuck with it. So going back to what you actually like, anyone that's starting out, whatever project that you feel, don't look at someone else's project as your inspiration because you're not going to get that same feedback. You're not going to get that same satisfaction. Like you said, if you have to open that tub a year later, 2 years later, and you're getting tired of actually cleaning poop of a snake that you decided that you don't even like, you just bought it because you saw someone else, talking great about it, but it's not that project that, that suited you. So, I mean, like, heck, breed and make what you like first. Sell yourself first. Once you
Yeah.
sold, then you practice on with your surroundings. Your family, your spouse, your immediate family. And if they like what you're producing, then it's going to be easy. It's going to be a cakewalk when you actually go to this to vend anywhere or
Yeah.
or put it up on Morph Market to sell.
So Brian thinks I should sell him. I just hatched out 2 blade clown females. He wants me to sell to him for $75 shipping
Shipping
included.
included and 3 weeks of rodents, right? Because that has to be included in that.
Yeah, you know what? And that's what I'll do. I'll send a separate package or some dry ice and some the food for the first 6 months. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do that, Brian. That'll work out well. um, yeah, I mean, when it comes to passion, you got to look at people that have been doing it. I mean, JKR. You talk about passion. I mean, this guy bred 2 genes that were dead. Spot nose and red stripe. They were dead. You couldn't sell them for $50. You couldn't sell them for $100. And then all of a sudden he made the Pompeii. And look, bam, skyrocketed right up. Everybody wants leopard. Everybody now with the Pompeii, the amount of animals, African softers. Oh, he wants African softers. You know what? I may have to charge a little more for African softers to feed that snake. That is the perfect example of working with your passion and produce. You feel something that you think is going to turn into something, and you go for it. Last year at Ham, €300.
No,
So VIP Morse has over 25 snakes with Orange Dream or high intensity Orange Dream, and his morphs are direct Aussie lines.
As a matter of fact, let's be honest. I mean, like everyone's Orange Dream is Aussie lines. I mean, like it's all a descendant from Aussie. I mean, like the reality is that that's what they all generate. It's like the if you go back with bananas, it all came down from a single snake banana that I believe it was a TSK, the Snake Keepers. They were the first ones that brought it down, and they mixed it up with, if I'm not mistaken, who was that other person they mixed it up with?
I forgot who the guy is. The guy that actually brought in the banana that purchased the banana off of Ian at Outback Reptiles. He's actually out of snakes. He's in Ohio. Yeah, he's out of Ohio. The snake keeper didn't bring in banana.
Were they working the banana first?
I'm
gonna go back to my logic book here. I'm gonna go to my logic book here. This person I deeply admire, Stephen Brockhammer. You know who Stephen Brockhammer is?
Maybe. I'm so bad with names.
This guy is like the connect to Evie Noah. I mean, like before Brian Barczyk or anyone else, this was the man that actually was the connect directly to Noah. Before anyone in the States was. Let's see. And I'm going to go to...
Oh, my God. I got another sneeze coming.
Gesundheit.
It's coming. I feel it.
I do that a lot. When someone's about to sneeze, I say it first, and it scares it away. Let's see.
Pinstripe comes from Barczyk. Yeah. There it is. Oh, my God.
Sounds like you broke something.
Oh, and I'm not a one sneezer either. All the dust from all the shit I've been doing.
Will Slow was the first one to breed bananas.
Yeah, Will.
And let's see. Brock Wagner, he got something from him. And then right here, banana females from Tracy and Dave Barker, who named their line the Coral Glow. Anyway, so I guess basically it was Will Slow.
Yeah.
Will Slow.
And he's out. You don't have a ball python.
Well, I guess he made his money. He made his money because when he was actually in it, it was when actually ball pythons were making a killing on a single sale versus.
Yeah, it was a $100,000 snake when it first came out.
Yeah.
And so one of my other mentors is Doug of Boa Basement. And he traded like $75,000 worth of snakes for a female banana. Yep. And the female banana at 2 years old or 3 years old, before he was able to get it to breed, found it upside down.
Oh.
Yes,
Ooh.
he said that was his worst investment.
Oh man.
But that's like I got a Clorox wipe right here, Brian. Um,
And that was after 2 years, raising it up to 2 years.
yeah, but that's the name of the game. I mean, do you have any heartbreak stories of a snake that meant so much to you, and all of a sudden you?
I'm afraid to actually get to that point, to tell you the truth. I mean, like right now, I'm
Yes,
dealing with an
yes.
egg-bound female. I'm dealing with an egg-bound female, but she's a normal het pied. I mean, like she's not one of my high-end snakes, but I put my position. What if she was one of my high-end snakes? And that's sometimes it's talk about casinos and playing the the slot machines. When you're thinking about what projects should I invest in and what is an investment, ball python. you know it's scary, that you can actually come up with something just like that. I mean, like, how do you make up for that? I mean, like, if you have it, you have it. But if you're a person that's, you're regular Joe and you're struggling and you just want to, actually, break even, and you're going all out on a specific project, and for it to, be belly up and like just before breeding. I mean, like, it's the years that you put into it to raise up that animal. The you're already thinking about, you're taking your wife to the next, Bahama cruise, and that's not happening. And your wife was already, she got her clothes on layaway because of that investment you sold her on. you know you
I
got a
want to
lot
go
of
to the
explaining to
Bahamas.
do. You got a lot of explaining to do.
Well, I mean, that's like my heartbreak was in 4 years ago. My introduction into the Clown Hypo project. I spent 800 hours on a super pastel Mojave double het Clown Hypo. So I raised him up. He was a pain in the ass eater. He would only eat African softers. It was my one and only snake that ever got stuck on African softers.
Hmm.
And oh gosh, Mario. And sorry, Mario ran into the camera stand. And I bred him to one girl, and a month later, I found him upside down.
Ooh.
Yeah, perfectly healthy snake. Ate every week. No issues. No respiratory issues. No nothing. Nothing. No mites. No nothing. And it's just unfortunate. That's
Yeah.
if
I mean, like, let's I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna throw numbers out there. I mean, like, I hope you don't feel uncomfortable about that. But I'm gonna throw it out there. The most I've ever invested in a single gene snake, and it's a male, is 4K. That's the most I ever. And when I invested 4K, I'm shitting bricks, literally, because 4K can go a long way. As a matter of fact, when you're trying to break even, because my way of breaking even is having that snake produced, not selling it, just producing.
yeah,
And every time I decide to do an investment on a specific project, I'm panicking that whole time until it gets to produce. After it produces, I'm fine if it goes belly up. I mean, like, thankfully, I've never had that situation, but it's that fear of actually, going all out on a project, gambling on a specific route, and not even seeing any returns. And I'm not talking about money wise. I'm talking about if that snake was able to produce and you can actually use the offsprings to keep furthering whatever project or
keep
path you want
growing.
to take it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, the investment. I hope that one day. So I have my. I don't want to say the number, but it doesn't touch your number. Both of them together doesn't equal what you have on that one snake. But I did invest a lot in a female maker banana desert ghost hepide. And then I also invested a lot in a pastel spot nose clown het hypo. That's those two snakes are my largest investments. and I hope I get a turnaround. I got the snake. The snake was a 2018, and I got it in the mail. I got both of them in January. I got them both from Bow Basement.
Mhm.
The male, I haven't gotten a clutch yet out of them, but I've already got multiple latches with 6 females. So hopefully now investment. I would just like you were saying. I don't look at it as actual money back in my pocket because since I only have one other desert ghost, which is a hatchling. I'm gonna what's it called? I'm gonna move it back. You know what I mean? I'm gonna hold back everything. But I feel like holdbacks are investments. It's just not out of your bank account. But
Yeah,
it's still an investment because if you were to sell it, it's not gonna be if you sell it, it's gonna be money coming in. So holding it back, it's like putting it in the negative. You know what I mean?
yeah, you're being right on that. But you know the good thing is because I've actually found that when I produce whatever I do produce, there's two ways I can use it. I can either use it to sell and get money back, or I can use it for good trades. And when I mean good trades, I mean like I would have to end up buying that rack or that snake, and that's money that's coming out of my pocket. But if I actually produce an animal that can I can make an even trade with someone to actually get a better animal that I would need for my projects, it's the same as actually buying it. And
Oh
I've
yeah,
done a lot of trades. I've done a lot of trades with animals, even stateside. When I pick up an animal, before I actually go into terms about asking how much would I have to pay, the first thing I'll ask is, are they willing to take trades? And if yes or no, it's still to my advantage because I have something that's worth a set about value.
yeah. Oh yeah, and I mean a value. The dollar sign value is can be totally separate to the value of what it could be in your inventory. You know, I'm going through. So someone wants to trade me. I have a pastel. I have a firefly spot nose female for sale on Morph Market right now,
Hmm.
and a good friend of mine wants to trade me a albino female. So the price is the same, right? And I do need albino females, but I'm at a point where do I need that albino female? Will that albino female be as influential to my collection as keeping the spot nose fires, the firefly? You know, so there's so many different angles to look at how an animal can value your collection.
Well, if anything, I look at it this way, especially when we're talking about multi genes versus a single gene. If it's a female, that female will always outvalue any male. And the reason I say that is I could take a normal female, have her up at an adult size for breeding, and I can take the best male that I have and I'll triple the value of that male from what I produce from a normal female. So
Yeah,
if you have an albino, you can just basically go to the best male that you have, basically bring it back or breed it back to that female, and all you need is one male. All you need is one male, as a matter of fact. Well, yeah, unless you're going double recessive, since you already have the visual female, but you need the separate pairing. So you can stay with two if you want, but it's going to make up the value of the both parents actually. So I use the girls, and I mean like I even have single gene females only because they're adults and what I have to pair to them, versus multi gene males that I have that I'll gladly trade off with no problem.
yeah. Oh, I got 9 pastels, 9 pastels that are anywhere from 2,500 grams and up. Um, you can put anything to them. I mean, look at the clutch that I'm going to put to that. That clutch that's due on the 14th. I put the genetic stripe orange ghost Mojave to a single gene. Why do you have Why do you have single gene pastels? Why just sell it? You don't need it. I'm like, no, I need it.
Yeah, a
Because when I get
Delfino, heck, you know the damage you could do with that.
oh hell yeah, man, and it's great. I get to play bartender and mix in whatever all different stuff with it. I mean, my whole thing, if you can handle it in your inventory, then go for it. If you're not gonna if if you can hold however amount of animals you can hold and still keep an integrity in the care, and you know that their husbandry is perfect, you're feeding them the way they're supposed to be fed. It's not like you're skipping weeks of feeding because you don't have the money to buy the food, or you're not producing. Like like where I'm at, there is no wholesales for rodents in upstate New York. Zero.
Really, not even frozen thawed.
I mean, I can get it shipped, but I hate frozen thawed. I used to feed everything frozen thawed. I only had when I lived in Westchester, I had 3 racks set up in my basement in my garage, and I would I only had a handful of snakes that were required to eat live. Um, but then when I started the rotary, I don't I'm done feeding frozen thawed. If frozen thawed, I sell those off. I don't use frozen thawed. I go live and throw it right in. You know, the only ones I feed frozen thawed to are my 2 boas.
Yeah, they'll eat anything. You know, it's the ball pythons that are picky.
Not my big one. Not my big. I Someone gave me a possible super hypo, possible het, um, Kyle albino female, big, 17 pounds. She's massive.
Mhm.
She's like as thick as a 2-liter bottle of soda, and
And she's finicky.
she won't eat frozen.
Really?
She won't eat frozen. No,
Hmm.
no. It's So I was warned by Doug about that. That don't even feed live to boas because they're they can also have a like I forgot the way you say it, but once they're trained, that's it. Some of them won't go to frozen thawed. They want to do the hunt. So we'll see. We'll see. I put my mail in with it, so hopefully I get a clutch. My fingers are crossed. I have a young male I put in with my boa. Um, a jungalo, so jungle hypo albino, but he's young. And if he doesn't, no, I will not. I will not feed my boa rabbits because I feed myself rabbits. um, yeah, if he doesn't figure it out, then I have a motley jungle hypo het albino cow albino that I can breed to her too,
You
and I
know,
really want Molly.
here in Puerto Rico, there's only two types of snakes that are legal. Not that other people don't have other snakes, because we got retics down here, we got BCIs, we got berms, we got them all, but they're not legal. And I've always said, if I was actually living in the States instead of here in Puerto Rico, what other animals would I want to get into besides ball pythons? But the thing is, ball pythons, the variety and the possibilities of different combinations that still to be unlocked alone gives me more than enough to work with.
Yeah,
And or even thinking about it. As a matter of fact, I went to a friend's house that he had a 16-foot berm, and I walked in there, and between me and him, we were trying to lift that beast up. And I was thinking, why the heck would I even want to bother with something like this that's so huge? And I mean, like, forget about feeding it rabbits, and I'd have to start feeding them goats. And what for? I mean, like, what market value in large quantities can I actually get from it versus what I can actually move and not have to work so hard at than producing ball pythons. I mean, like, I gotta say this. I gotta say this because I saw your last live that you did, and I love Chucky. Chucky's, he's a Puerto Rican brother, from Ponce, and we talk a lot. And but there was some things that I just didn't agree with. And one of the things that I didn't agree with was the point about that ball pythons. There's enough ball pythons, and
Yeah.
there should be more of that. That's the reality. Is that we created a value for ball pythons in the market that if there wasn't, we'd have the same problem that Malaysia's having with the retics, that they're eating it because it tastes so good and they can't find any. If we leave it to the general population, as a matter of fact, the ball pythons, if we leave it to Kenya or Benin or Toga,
You
that
may have
would
to
be
sprinkle
basically
there.
bushmeat. That would be bushmeat. That's the only value they will find, is how they can prepare it the next day for food.
Hey.
But because there's a market and there's a community, you know, um, a trapper would think twice of actually picking up a snake they found in the bush and serving it to eat versus selling it to Noah and Noah shipping it to the States or Europe.
What's in that drum?
Oh yeah, I mean, for the actual animals, I mean, breeding in captivity is unfortunate with some of these animals. It's going to be the thing that keeps them going. Especially that is not required by a zoo. I mean, you look at snow leopards. Like if snow leopards were something that people can handle at home, you wouldn't even hear about snow leopards going extinct because they would be able to get cream of the crop and reintroduce it. But unfortunately, snow leopards are something that is a tough animal, and only zoos can handle those big cats. And unfortunately, the reptile trade or the feline trade won't be able to, keep that species going in the wild. Reticulators, there's got to be more reticulators in the U.S. than over in Indonesia.
Yeah, I mean, like like there's so much to work with, and not taking away what can actually come out of Africa, what new breeds or what new morphs. As a matter of fact, I saw on a European channel, there's this morph that they call in the VPI Kente. As a matter of fact, it kind of looks like a messed up calico. Um, but it's another morph. They found
Yeah,
another morph down there. They could have easily took it to the chopping block and just stir fried it and cooked it up. But no, I mean, like, because they're thinking, wow, we got the next best thing. Let's send it to Germany, or let's send it to the United States, and get three times the value of it. So the same thing with basically a lot of the animals. And the sad reality is, if we leave the animals to their natural environment, there is no natural environment. Basically, we destroyed most of it. So it's
yeah.
not like they have anything to go back to.
I forgot what we were talking about. There
Snow
was something
leopards.
out. Well, before snow leopards, well, Carol Baskin is a bitch, and she killed her husband. All right, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Carol Baskin killed her husband.
But did you love her in Dancing on the Stars?
I didn't give. I no. I don't watch. But Carol Baskin, you're a bitch. I fucking hate all of them. But, I watched Tiger King, and I was like, they're all pieces of shit. Like every single one of them. I mean, they all have slave labor. They're paying nothing for people to risk their lives, and I mean, they're all batshit crazy. Absolutely batshit crazy.
But it
What were
made
we
good.
talking about?
It makes good entertainment.
Oh yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I actually watched the whole series all in one shot.
I
All
waited to the end, as a matter of fact, to watch it. I waited till everyone actually saw it, because if it wasn't because everyone kept talking about it and kept talking about it, kept talking about it, um, I mean, like, I probably wouldn't have seen it today. But I think I was like the very last one to actually jump in and started watching it before I started hating on Carol.
Oh, see, I was early. I had a friend that told me, like, dude, you gotta watch this shit. Like, it is the craziest thing. This fucking guy with tigers.
Reggie's Urban Jungle. He actually worked with them. He worked with the Tiger King. I forgot what his name is, but he worked on his farm for a while just before all this finished out. It didn't come
So
on a
exotic.
documentary, but he actually worked on there.
Yeah, that that whole situation is nuts. I mean, it's really nuts. I like big cats, but I know, like, I have I have a 9 pound cat that fucking attacks me randomly, and it's a 9 pound cat. You know, I walk by and the little asshole grabs onto my leg. So I'm not messing with any big cat, you know. Dave didn't watch it yet. Oh my god, it is so crazy. The show, Dave. It's about these people that have these zoos that claim that they're for the animals, but they're all about the money. When it breaks down to everything, even Carol Baskin has 3,000 employees. She doesn't pay $1 in labor, and then she has the whole.
But it goes back to basically who's entitled to keep an animal and who isn't, and that's what Carol is basically upset about. That other people were having parks and doing their things, and she made it to the point that she got everyone out to focus basically on herself so she could keep having those employees that she didn't have to pay for, and have a cats and have a parks and all that stuff. So, when you have, these people, they piggyback on animal rights people, and they start talking about what animals you should or shouldn't have. Bottom line is they don't want you to have any animals. I mean, like even that 8 pound cat that you hate, if they can, they'll take that away too.
I mean, I love Naruto now, but he's an asshole. Now I remember we were talking about the large snakes. So the reason why I got into boas is because I can't give away um, jumbo rats. So all my retired rodents, I have trouble finding homes for them. So not homes for them. Like I have trouble when I euthanize them. I can't. I put them on Craigslist for $2 for sale, and they won't even sell for $2 on Craigslist. Jumbo rats.
You I cycle my rats. And when I see my rats are larger than they will keep producing, I feed them to my ball pythons, and I have ball pythons here that eat extra large with no problem. I mean, like it's
Oh,
it's once a month, but they will take it with they will not hesitate to take it down.
really? See, I don't do it. So I got into the boas for something to feed. So my master plan is I retire on average 150 rats a year.
No, that's a lot.
Yeah, so that's
You
why I
need
want to
you need a
retic.
tiger. You need a tiger.
Yeah,
Forget that big snake. You need a
I'll get a
tiger.
lynx. Nah, you know what? Once the boas are going, and once I plan on having two males and two females. The females, like my female, I give her two jumbo rats. Um, Preferably, I like to give them the male rats because the male rats are bigger,
Yeah.
and I'll give her two jumbo rats every other week. So that's 4 rats times that by 12. That's 48 rats. So if I end up with 3 boas, I'll be 3 females. I'll be sitting pretty with when it comes to feeding them off.
But let me ask you a question. I mean, like, isn't cycling your males earlier helping you out
No,
so they don't have to get that big?
no, because I mean, I just leave the male in if it works and the formula is good because I'm very systematic with my rodents. So what I do is I only hold back animals to reproduce that come from litters that are above 25. So
Okay.
all my females are from large litters as well as my males. Um, and then my females, I only allow them to produce for 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, that's what I
Eight
do.
months.
8 months.
At 8 months, they're retired. 8 months they're retired because they peak. Their first I average my first 2 litters will average anywhere from 15 to 20, and then it'll peak up to 25 to 30 pups per litter.
Mm.
And then it'll peak and then it'll come down. Once it drops to below 20 per litter, then that's it. I have grow outs and replace out the colonies. So I'm replacing. I average 6 to 8 litters per female, and then I swap it out, and then I just go fresh bloodlines with the male.
Okay. Yeah,
And it's
I
not
seen the
one.
video. I seen the video of your at that time. As a matter of fact, you were doing the IG with Catherine, while you were cleaning out rodents.
Yeah.
How many tubs do you have?
So I have 72 tubs. I have
Oh,
I have
I wish
30.
I wish you were my neighbor.
Yeah, yeah, but you know what? I that's just enough to really feed my inventory. Um, I have 36 colonies of rats, and then I have not 36. I have 31 colonies of rats, and I have five bins for 3 are for grow outs for feeding, and 2 are grow outs for colonies. And I'm going to build another rack because I think I need to sit at 42 because I'm not having overstock, and that's my issue. So I want to have overstock because that's easy money.
Do you supply for yourself, or do you also supply other people?
I supply other people as well.
Okay.
So I have a couple other people. But the way it goes is, so one of my customers, right? She started with like 8 snakes. So it was, but then 4 months later, now she's up to 15. So that adds up, that extra 7 a week. Now that's 24 a month or 28 a month. So it happens really fast. And then the other person's the same way. They're random, but so I prefer to supply for customers that have bought a snake off me. So I have like one friend that has 2 snakes that he got off me. So I provide all the rodents for him. And then I have another customer that got 1 snake from me. So I provide for them. So I try to do the whole providing for other people at a small scale.
How many snakes do you have? Ball python related.
I have a few. I don't really like to mention it, but it's 3 digits.
Okay. Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable? Is that a comfortable number that you're working with right now, or you're thinking of actually adding on to it?
Oh, I'm gonna add. I'm gonna send you it. I'll send you the message. So I have 40.
Okay, I got it.
I have 40 snakes for sale right now. So that's where I'm sitting. But now with the new rack system, I think I'll be able to. It'll be a lot smoother because you can fit so much more with the right tubs, and I've been holding off because like my racks are all do-it-yourself racks.
Mm-hmm.
I have one rack that's an actual. I have a CB70, Vivarium Electronics rack. That only has 3 tubs. Everything else is something I built. And I was just using regular Sterilite tubs, and I would have kept on doing it too. This latest rack that I built was based off of, it was going to be a 13 high, 26 tub rack. And then how many snakes? Don't think I've asked. She asked too. So I was only going to go 26 high. Now with this rack, I think I'm going. It's this rack's actually smaller than the other rack. It's 1 inch narrower, and it's 3 inches shorter. And instead of being 13, I can fit. I got 11 large tubs and then 10 of the medium tubs. So that rack's going to hold 21 snakes in a space that with Sterilite only fit 13. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to start making more melamine. I wish I could do PVC, but it's just, with me not having a job right now, it's not in the deck of cards. If I didn't breed my own rodents, the MJ Reptiles would be going downhill
Yeah,
if I didn't provide on the food.
when I started basically I had about, my goodness, um I had about 26 snakes when I started actually breeding on my own for the very first time, my own feeders. Before that, I was actually buying it. I was lucky enough that I had someone next to me, not too far, like 10 minutes away, that he was into breeding rodents, but he only had two snakes. So he's basically supplying everyone around. But when the numbers started getting a little bit higher and I started making my first clutches, and obviously when you start making your first clutches, that's where your holdbacks start coming in, then your number starts increasing. Well, I started investing in racks and making my own colonies.
Yeah,
When we were hit with Hurricane Maria, it decimated my house. I mean, like my and this is really sad. It's heartbreaking. My rodents, I had it outside in the shed, and the hurricane, basically, it just destroyed the whole thing. And it wasn't until 2 days was I able to go to the shed and check on the rodents, and the ones that did not die because they were flooded, they stayed there. And that's something that I'm surprised that rodents, when you raise them in a nest, they stay within their nest. They're not like the wild ones that basically they'll run forever, whatever hole they'll find. They
oh
they're
yeah,
they're they're trained to stay within their nest, and they were out. They were basically out, but they stayed right there in the rack area. So I was able to salvage a few, but half of my colony was actually gone. And I was thinking, if the whole thing would have gone, that would actually, there would have been no
jeopardize
BM.
your whole program. Yeah,
There was no way for me to, even though snakes actually they could go a year or even more without feeding, but me basically getting back to building up that feeding colony that I established at one time, it was too much actually to take on, especially that everyone in this island was going through the same problems. So it wasn't
yeah,
like I could buy some feeders from somebody. As a matter of fact, that whole year I skipped the whole season because I couldn't actually meet up demands for any of my snakes, and I only had about like 30 snakes at those times.
yeah,
Now the numbers that I have, if I was to go through something again like that it would be end of story for me, to tell you the truth.
yeah. It's jeopardizing. So I learned the hard way last season. Not 2020, 2019. Um, Going into 2020, I didn't replenish my bloodlines soon enough. So I ended up with a lot of breeders that were underproducing, but they were producing, and I had to keep them. So now I'm growing them out, and while they're in grow outs, I'm not building colonies until they're dropping babies, and I'm checking to see which females are dropping babies, and then as soon as they drop the babies, then I'm putting them into a colony, and that's how I built up my lines until I really found that happy medium of 8 months, 6 to 8 litters.
Hmm.
But as the collection grows, I just keep on building rat racks. I started with 5 or 4, but they were only 5 high. And then when I reevaluated the situation, I said, "Oh, let me go 6 high." So then I had 4 at 6 high. Then I added another one and made it 5 at 6 high. Then I was at 30 bins. And then I said, you know what? Let me add another rack. I added another rack 6 high, and that's what put us at 36. Because so that's just rats. Then I also breed African sofers and mice. So with the stainless steel tubs, I have 36 of those, but I have one rack that's open, just because it's so much smoother to have the extra rack open and to be able to just always start from one side. So one side the rack will be open, and then I work over to the other side, side to side, cleaning tubs. Empty them into that, pull the tub, clean that tub, put the new tub in, go to the next rack, slide it over, and that's like the most efficient way for me to clean the rodents. But I only feed mice and African softers for the first several meals. As
Wow.
soon as the snake hits 10 meals, then it's switched over.
Scales from the crypt. I buy around 850 to 1,000 rats a month. That hurts. I mean, like, that's why I breed mines. As a matter of fact, that's around the numbers that I have to produce. I mean, like, I have to produce at least 300 rats a week. I need to produce 300 rats a week. And I don't hit those numbers most of the times. So I have to actually outsource the amount that I'm missing. And I was just actually going over with my wife, because she's real committed with me, thankfully, with this hobby. I mean, like, without her, I can't say that I would even have any collection, because without her support, this wouldn't be possible. But she's the one that actually helps me with the rat racks. I mean, like, I don't build it. She gets people that helps me actually build it, and I get a real great price at the racks. And they're not the wood ones either. They make it out of the same materials that they make fences. It's iron, as a matter of fact, and they're made out of iron. So those babies are like, last forever. And I have six of them, and they're 5 high. And I was telling her that I need her to reach out to the person that built it. I need two more.
What ratio? Well, what tubs do you use?
I use the basically the cement tubs that you get in Home Depot.
The
The-
medium size tubs.
yeah, yeah, that's what I use.
They're called medium, but they only sell two sizes: a medium and a
That's the
large.
9 gallon one. The larger one, it's a lot more bigger, but it's usually around 9 gallons.
I hate the large one. The large one, the lip is too small. So I've dealt with when you're reaching in trying to grab them out, you fucking knock the whole tub down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I go with what I was sold from the very start, and I just basically stay with that same numbers, or that same that model. I don't go beyond that. And I know other people that use other size tubs, but I use what works for me.
Now, what ratio?
Three. I leave a male in all the tubs with three females. So there's a male per three females.
Really, you only do you do three. See, I do four. I go 1 to 4 in the medium tub with
Yeah,
the.
the only reason I have to do three, I can't do more than that, because it's hot here. And as a matter of fact, I have fans running in my garage where I keep my rodents. And these rodents, they generate heat like crazy. And they don't do good with temperatures over 85. And it always hits 89 where I am right now, even in the wintertime. So I have to have fans running constantly to circulate the air. So if I put that extra rat in there, it's more body heat that's going to generate, and they'll just
Oh yeah.
basically kill each other off.
You know how much? You know that rat produces 1 BTU of heat, so it adds up. You
Yeah, so
know,
whatever temperature the garage is, it's multiplied by each rat that's in there.
I'm surprised you don't do air conditioning.
I've thought about it, but I've heard, as a matter of fact, Ryan and Ben, they did an interview with a large scale rodent producer, and they talked about the ammonia actually eats away at the coils
It
of the
does.
air conditioning.
Yep.
So they just have to have fan to circulate the movement. As a matter of fact, I'm not too sure if you saw a video of Justin when he did his rat facility. He has those huge fans that basically one turns on to get fresh air in, and the other one turns on to basically take the other air out on the other side. So it moves the airflow within the area. But air conditioning, I mean, like, I would love to do something like that, but I'd have to be changing units out every 6 to 8 months.
Well, no, I'm because it's not that intense. And from what I from so my buddy has a rodent company, and they actually use what like yachts use. You actually use marine air conditioners. The marine air conditioners can handle. They're built stronger to handle salt water,
Okay.
so they actually have a longer life. The condenser has a longer life, But I'll tell you the trick I did. My rodent room is air conditioned, and what I do is I bought a upright high efficient air conditioner, and the portable ones,
Right.
and I put a 3-year warranty on it for $20.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so I bought it from Walmart. It was delivered to my house for $220.
Oh, snap!
Yeah,
You
3-year warranty
just
covers
made my
everything.
year. You just made my year with that idea. You mean the upright rollerway ACs, those portable
Yep.
ones?
Oh yeah. And
Huh.
then I got my carbon cartridge filter over it. So my exhaust system, I always ran an exhaust, and I was running 1200 CFMs, blowing the air out. What I did was I went from 6-inch down to 4-inch, and I ran a 4-inch duct across all my rat racks. So on top of each tub and between each tub, there's an opening, so the air can suck in and go out. So that's what keeps the ammonia down. But I'm air conditioning the room while blowing the air out. So then that's when I got into this carbon cartridge thing, and the carbon cartridge thing is like night and day.
Oh,
So I'm
wow.
running carbon down there, and then now instead of my exhaust fan running for 24 hours a day, I'm running it for 30 minutes every 30 minutes every 2 hours. So an hour and a half it'll be off, 30 minutes on. So it's only running, or no, 2.5 hours off, 30 minutes on. So it's running for 6 hours a day. So I cut the cost down on the exhaust 75%, as well as now I'm not blowing the air out because now it's wintertime. So now I'm
Mhm.
heating, because that's what I learned from Vinny from VIP Morphs. So it was crazy how I met VIP Morphs. I move upstate. I'm not producing enough rodents. I was literally driving 2.5 hours to my father's house, doing a rodent order, and then driving back up to feed my hatchlings. I was picking up like 300 hoppers at a time.
Mhm.
And I go on Craigslist and I see rats for sale. So I answer the ad. I message the ad, and I'm talking to the guy, and I'm like, I find out he's a breeder, and he's been breeding for over so many years. Over I think he's been producing for almost 15 years. And I said, how many snakes do you have? He goes, oh, I keep my inventory around 100. And I go, okay, cool, we're around the same part. And then I'm like, how many rat colonies do you have? And he said, I got 12. I was like, what? I have double the rats that you have, same amount of animals, and I'm fucking buying rats off of you. Like, how the fuck are you doing that? So that's where I learned about bloodlines. So that's where I bought animals from him just to reproduce, and that's where I started producing these 25 plus litters.
Mhm.
Um, Now, and he has it set. His rat room stays between 70 and 75 degrees, 365 days a year.
Oh, wow.
Because if it gets hot, they're going to naturally accommodate because they don't want to overheat and stroke out, right? So now when they ovulate, they're not going to produce as many eggs. It's a survival thing, right? So if you keep your temp down, they're not going to worry about overheating, and they're going to produce more babies. And then the same thing vice versa. When it gets cold, now they're worrying about, fat content in their body, right? So now they're worried about fat. If they have too big of a litter, they're going to lose too much weight. In the long run, it's going to kill them off. So in the winter, you want to keep it, you keep it at 70. Summertime, you keep it at 75. And so I've been going with this now for almost 2 years. And when I say my production went up like 200%, 200% is probably more than 200%, because I was only averaging 15 to 20 per litter. Now I'm averaging 20 to 30 a litter. So I think temperature is a big part of it, and if you could figure it out with air conditioning.
Yeah, but the downside that we have over here is the electricity is like it's the cost is incredible. The cost of basically the electricity down here. Um, my Puerto Rican rats, they better get used to 85 degrees. You know, because me bringing them down to 70, I don't even sleep in my own room with 70 degrees. You know, the most it'll get down is basically, if I'm lucky, it'll get down to like, and it's running with AC, it'll get down to 79. So if I gotta sweat it out a little bit, those rodents are gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's fan for them. That's all they're gonna get.
Oh my God. I see. That's why I can't live in a tropical place. I am like me and my wife have separate rooms because I like to be freezing. So right now it's 39 degrees outside, and I have my window wide open.
Oh gosh, I miss those days.
And then so the room I'm in right now, it's like 74 degrees in here, and she's got a hoodie on and a blanket. So yeah,
Yeah,
no, I can't.
that's why I was mentioning to you the other day that basically I run off ambient temperature with my snakes. I don't have any heat tapes on any of them because in the evenings right now, it's, as a matter of fact, I'm looking at this, it's 87 degrees right here.
Oh my God, if I was in that room right there, I'd have sweat pouring down my head. I'd be like this whole, this is for
You'd have
prostate
you'd have a Giuliani, have like a sweating
to drip.
hair
Oh my
dry hair
God,
dye coming down.
it's so crazy, man. I'm like can't imagine.
But
I
yeah, I mean, like, and the thing, and this is the funny thing. I'm on the south. I'm on the southern part of the island, and there are people here that are complaining that most of their snakes are throwing up their food because it's so cold where they're at, and they don't have any heat. They're because a lot of people around the outer coast of the island, it's always warm, it's extremely warm, not as it's a lot more colder in the center part of the island versus the coastal areas. And
really,
there's some parts of the island that a lot of people are complaining and ordering heat tapes like crazy because they're seeing that most of their hatchlings are throwing up their food, and it's because the temperature is dropping. They're getting under 77 degrees, as a matter of fact. And I'm not even seeing that here. The lowest it drops is down to 81, and that's on a rainy night. It doesn't even get lower than that.
yeah, that doesn't sound good to me. I don't want to shovel snow anymore, but I don't want to deal with that either. That's too
Yeah,
hot.
the humidity is like and that's the other issue. The humidity is always at 90 degrees. It's always at 90%. We don't get anything less than 80 at any time of day. We never get the humidity under 80. I mean, like, it's funny because I went to one of my rodent breeders because I have three different rodent breeders within my area that supplies me when I'm running short. And this specific breeder, he incubates his reptile eggs not in an incubator or not even with the snakes. He basically has them in those 6 quart Sterlite tubs, and he just puts it on the shelf with stacks of books on it. That's all he does,
That's
and that's how he
crazy.
incubates. And he incubates at it takes him 60 days before, and he doesn't cut. They just pip out by themselves, but he just leaves it on the shelf. That's how
That's
warm actually where he lives it gets to.
that's incredible. We wrote. Do you work more time on rodents than in the snake room?
Yes,
I don't.
I do
Me,
every day.
me and my wife me and her got the system down with rodents. We've been breeding rodents now for almost 5 years. It takes us if we put in 4 to 5 hours a week. That's a lot with rodents. So I spend more time spot cleaning than cleaning rodents.
Well, I kind of say I spend more time working with the rodents and the actual snakes because spot cleaning for me with the snakes basically, and I don't use cocoa husk because the reason, like I said before, is we have high humidity, so there's no need for cocoa husk. I'll either use aspen on the lighter snakes, or I'll use newspaper paper for the darker snakes. But
Yeah.
it's basically it's a question of actually just looking in the tub, changing the water every 3 days, and making sure there's no spills in the morning or in the nights when I go check on them. But the rodents, I have to dedicate 30 to 45 minutes per day every day for the rodents. So I feel that I dedicate a lot more time to the rodents because of the issue with the heat and everything. That I got to make sure that I don't have any issues that I'm noticing some pups are bigger or smaller than the other. Then I have to relocate them and put it with another
Yeah.
parent within the same size. So I find myself doing that a lot more, and then making sure that I'm keeping up with my colonies to supply the amount that I need.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, my rodents. I'm more of and I think that's why I like having more colonies to be heavy because I grow them out. It's going to be even a small. I'll still give it 2 weeks before I feed it off. Depending on what it is I'm feeding. I mean, I have a lot of smaller snakes, but I also have a lot of big snakes too. But I don't feed larger than a medium. Um, what is We're trying to read the comments. Need an assistant. What what's nice about having an assistant is so Junior's 12. He just turned 12 in October, and he actually, as much trouble as he makes, he is such a great helper. So at first it was me and my wife, and then now we have Junior as a helper, and wow, it's come a long way.
Yeah,
Come on.
I gotta say, because if I don't have the help of my wife and my son he takes care of my hatchling racks. He takes care of the hatchlings and the subadults, and my wife, actually, believe it or not, she helps me with the adults. And then basically, I take turns with my son, and we actually go together when we have to clean out the rodents. And my rodents, I clean out weekly. I mean, like I can't go more than that when I'm actually cleaning out each of my rodent bins. It doesn't go past 7 days.
Really? Yeah, we I think because of the environment as well as food too, because I think food is a big part about your how much cleaning you have to do. Um, our garbage is on Tuesdays, so Mondays is 3 hours down there.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Speaking of food, I just recently made the transition because it's not easy finding rodent feed for the rats here. And what I was using was pig roe. I was using the which basically has the same amount of protein as Missouri blocks. But the only problem is that they're a lot more smaller,
Yeah,
and
they
I
fall
would
through the
waste
hopper.
a lot more. Yeah, I would waste a lot more. So at the end result, a 50-pound bag is like a third of the cost of the Missouri bags where I used to buy them. But I was lucky enough because I contacted Missouri directly, and I found an importer here in Puerto Rico that actually he receives it and he distributes it to basically all the feed stores here in the island. So I went directly
Okay.
to him, and I'm really paying $10 more than what I would be buying it if I bought it from a feed store in the States. Most of the feed stores here, they sell it for three times the cost because they're buying it from him. But now I was lucky enough to get that contact, so I go directly to him, and that's something I definitely noticed with the Missouri blocks is less waste, a lot more less waste
Less
versus
waste,
what I
less,
had with the
less
other one.
sodium too. It's
Yes,
low in sodium, so they're not urinating as much. So the substrate is staying dry. You're not
yes.
getting that wet substrate.
And even
Um,
though I still am in the I'm still in the I would say the practice of changing it weekly, because I want to make sure that that I'm maintaining, even though with the food it actually helps out so good with ammonia, but I want to make sure that the smell is not unbearable to the point that any of the neighbors close by can actually even know that I'm breeding rodents and the amount that
yeah,
I'm actually trying to produce. So that's another main reason that I'm always on top of them.
yeah, that's what we're having with the rabbits. I got to come up with a system for the rabbits because the rabbits actually produce a lot of smell,
Yeah,
and we're
they
heavy.
have high ammonia things, and you're always gonna have someone that's gonna complain about it.
Yeah, luckily my neighbors don't say anything, but not yet because we're heavy on rabbits right now. So we have five meat rabbits growing out, and then we have another four babies, and then we're retiring some females. So we're gonna go to like the lowest scale, and we're not gonna breed throughout winter because I mean it's not even
And
December yet.
those rabbits are for yourself, or do you sell off also?
I sell them to pay to provide to pay for. So the rabbits cost us right now with the amount of rabbits we have, it's costing us um what is it, $37 a month. So I try to sell two bunnies a month,
Okay, to
you know,
cover. Yeah.
to cover costs. Yeah, I mean we're so what happened was I didn't know when I got into it without doing the proper research or whatnot. So we ended up getting rabbits that were bred too early, their growth was stunted. So I invested in different bloodlines of rabbits and different breeds of rabbits that are better for meat and all of that. And we got two studs, two males, and then we're going to have six females. And that's going to be more than enough. Right now, we're sitting at nine females. And the females that were bred too young are going to essentially become rabbit stew.
Peter asks, who took care of your ball pythons and rodent collections while you were away in the holidays? I'll ask this question to you, but in this time that I actually went to Florida, I was gone for like about 4 weeks, and that's the part that I was talking about. My wife, she's detrimental to me in my collection because while I was gone, she was the one that was actually taking care of all the rodents and all my snakes. Now, 4 weeks was the most I've ever actually taken away from this to actually go on a vacation. And I usually take 1 or 2 weeks. And when I take 1 or 2 weeks and my wife goes with me, that's when I love Missouri blocks. Missouri blocks, I'll just fill up the whole top of the whole rack.
Hopper.
Yeah, and they'll be good for those 2 weeks that I'm gone, and I'll come back, and I will not have a single issue of any cannibalism or anything with the rodents and the ball pythons. That's what I try to do when I plan a vacation that's going to take within a week or 2 weeks. I make sure that I stop feeding my snakes a month before my actual trip because that time I make sure that they'll defecate whatever they ate. So by the time I come back, I don't have to worry about them actually defecating their whole environment. So that's one thing that I do when I prepare for any trip that I take, and there's no one going to be here to actually look after the animals.
It's a good idea, actually.
And the other thing also that I do to control the amount of food for the rodents, I cull all the pups. All the pups they're culled. So the only thing that are left are pinkies. Any smalls or any pups, they're all fed off to the snake a month before, and they'll get extra feedings. But I will cut off a month before the actual trip, just to give the snakes that time to digest and defecate whatever they're gonna have left in them. So basically, I could come back with a fresh start when I come back with to my animals.
Yeah, hog feed for the cages. The hog feed. After you talking about the hog feed,
Yeah,
I bet
pig
you
rope.
could. I bet you can put it in a tub and wet it, and then put another tub on top to kind of compress it, and then turn it into a block form.
Yeah, but I mean, like I'm good with the Missouri blocks. I mean, like they're big enough to basically just spread over the 1/4 inch barbed wires or the
Half
separator
inch.
between them. Yeah, it's the 1/2 inch. I have 1/4 inch for the mice and 1/2 inch for the rats,
Yep.
and I just basically fill up the top with that completely, and I leave it for whatever time that I'm gone,
You
and
fix her so she's not one.
like I said, I make sure that I get rid of the I get rid of the hatchlings. I mean the pinkies and the not the pinkies, but the smalls and the hoppers.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't even imagine. That's gotta be intense. I we don't go anywhere.
Oh, we. I mean, like I got to get out of here. I mean, like honestly, um, if I'm a slave to this, I can't enjoy what I'm doing because that's not what this hobby is all about. I That's why I limit my numbers. As a matter of fact, I set a boundary of what numbers I can actually have my collection to and what I'm comfortable with. I mean, like at one point I passed over 200, but then I found that it was too much work actually to working with so many ball pythons and also trying to keep up with the feeders. So I actually dropped those numbers, and now my comfort zone is 100 to 120. That's my comfort zone. Anything above that, and thankfully this season I didn't produce as many clutches as I did last season. Last season, oh my god, I produced 150 eggs last season, and they all went. I did not have uh, an infertile egg. I didn't lose an egg in the incubation. I got 150 snakes on top of
Nice.
the ones I already had. And because of that, I actually added on 2 racks. But those numbers with the ones I already had, it wasn't what I felt comfortable working with. So basically, I make sure that I select what females I have, and now that I have an ultrasound, now I can actually even be more selective on what females I have planned for that season to breed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, the ultrasounds are definitely, if used properly, it's a big asset.
Yeah, I mean, like if it wasn't because of that, and this is the first season I'm actually using it, but the idea behind this is I'm not guessing what female is going to go. In essence, I'm going to be pairing as many females as I can to guarantee a clutch. I don't want to do that. Now, I want to breed what I know it's going to breed, and if I see a certain female has not reached a certain degree of follicles, then you know what? I'm not going to keep pairing. I'll just move the male on to the other female that is within that limit, and that way it's
Yeah.
going to limit how many I'm going to produce because I know for a fact that male placement does help development of follicles. So if they're at 6 or 8 millimeters, it'll only take like 2 or 3 weeks, and that female will jump up to 10 to 15 in a snap of a finger, just
Oh
because
yeah.
the male is there placed constantly. But this way, I'm going to actually choose the females, so I'm going to limit how much I'm going to be producing. Right now, I was going over my breeder plan, and I have 28 females potentially that I have to pair this season, but I don't want that because the season I did before, I only paired 12 females and I got 105 eggs. So I don't want to get those
Sure.
numbers back.
Yeah, I can. It's, oh gosh, technical difficulties. It's definitely an asset because then you're not juggling males around so much. You're not stressing out the females. You can feed them, feed them, feed them, and say, okay, now it's time to do your pairings. Now you unplug this.
Yeah, and the best part basically is when I get the female that's off food. When I have a female that's off food because she's already at that point that she's her follicles at above 20 millimeters, then I can concentrate on the following season females. And all that extra food will go to those females that I plan to use on the following season to replace that first female that basically is got off food and basically is about to ovulate.
Hell yeah, that's great. That's really good. I just feed the shit out of my snakes. I feed them I feed them like hell, and I wait for them to cold seek. Once they start cold seeking, then I know that the ovulation process is started. Not ovulation, the follicle building is started, and then that's when I start dropping males in. And I literally get a Sharpie, and I just put a Sharpie on what my projected pairing is going to be, so that as soon as it's not even a thought, as soon as I see her cold seeking, then start dropping the male in and start getting my pairings.
You
And
know, I gotta be honest with you. I've never had an eye for that of cold seeking or warm seeking because, like I said, it's ambient temperature here, so it's the same temperature in the front as it is in the side, regardless if
Yeah.
she's cold wrapping. And
Oh
that's
yeah,
not
you
going to
won't.
tell me anything different.
Yeah, that won't work for you. You know, we with the heat tape. My tubs are 84 in the front and 90 in the back. So, you know, they clearly go right up front when it's game time.
Yeah, I
Like,
put heat tape. I'll put heat tape on on any of my racks, and they'll be off all day, and it'll still be 88 degrees.
it's so crazy. Yeah, I mean, once eventually when I have the facility, you know, when we move into another house, we're going to have an actual facility. I'm going to build the facility and the property just so that when people come by, they can just go right to the facility, you know. And I can't wait to have. I'm not gonna run ambient, but I'm gonna keep the facility at 84 degrees, and then you know, run thermostats. But I'm not gonna. The heat tape's barely gonna be used, you know, because the ambient's gonna be so high. Where when the house is 75 degrees, the heat tape has to work harder.
Yeah, I've always put in the back of my head, if I was ever to basically move
Gummy.
stateside and start all over, I'd basically be total at loss. Every experience that I had breeding and raising ball pythons here would not apply at all, and I would be starting from zero. Where I would actually have to move.
Yeah, I mean, would you move back to the lower 48 states?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I've been contemplating either going back to Florida or Georgia, and that's something me and my wife we're discussing it in a near future to make that transition. Um, and like I said, to make that point, those are the two areas that I actually decide to go to, but I would never go back to New York.
Wait, what was that? Sorry, I had to say something to my daughter. I took the mic off.
No, no, that I was saying that if I was to move back to the States, it would be either Florida or Georgia, but I would never go back to New York.
No, no, I don't recommend anybody go to New York. It's getting worse. It's going to get worse.
Yeah, and it's not the point of it getting worse. It's that I've been basically climated to the warm temperatures. I went to New York in the Christmas season, and I came back the same day because the cold was too unbearable for me. And the thing is, I was raised in New York. I mean, like I was there when they would have those crazy snowstorms. But I've been here so long that
Oh,
my body is acclimated to this warm temperature that I can actually stand the cold. Upstate. I can get that. Up north.
yeah, I want to go to Texas. Texas is on my radar just because the main reason why is the food.
Yeah.
You know, I like pork, so wild hog hunting. Even though Florida has invasive hogs now that are really taking over, and I could easily go there. But I want to get away from the weather. I got health issues. The weather sucks. I mean, right now I broke my foot when I was younger. Now my foot's acting up. My knees are acting up. And of course I want to move to Texas because David Cease is in Texas as well. That's
Scales from the crypt.
yeah, it's because he's in Texas. Yeah, he has quite the collection. He just got back into the ball. He just got into like the ball pythons. He's been breeding reptiles for years and years and years. He's another OG, and oh, his collection's growing fast. He's gonna be that logo. If people don't follow him already, should follow him because give that man 3 years. 3 years, it's going to be crazy the amount of the animals he's producing.
What is
He's
it?
not.
Texas got that logo. Get big, go big or go home.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, he's not from Texas though. He's from shit. Now I'm having a brain fart. He lives in Texas. I'm trying to look in the chat because I know that he was talking about it in the chat. But he lived in an area that's colder than where I'm at right now.
Minnesota. Oh my God, he lived in Walnut Grove territory.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I wanna go south. If anything, I wouldn't mind North Carolina. Um, my nieces and nephew are down there that I miss so much. And it has a quiet winter. If we have to deal with 2 snowstorms a year, that's perfect. Where right now I'm like upstate New York, forget it. You know, we don't measure by storms; we measure by feet. It just adds up so fast up here.
30 miles from Walnut Grove, actually. You could tell I'm a big Little House on the Prairie fan from with that comment.
You were talking about old shows. You know what show I want to watch over? Bewitched.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
yeah, that one.
when I was a kid, I was like, she was so beautiful. I loved her, But then I got older and I watched like a rerun, and I was like, oh my god, she's so evil. She's like torturing this guy.
Well,
So,
they replaced the husband like 2 times within the series. So, 10 minutes west of Sleepy Eye. Oh my God. Oh man, this guy is really into the book. 10 minutes west of Sleepy Eye. Oh man.
I got my Filipino people in here. Alan is in the house.
Your Filipino friends, Salamatan.
Just, talk,
Salamatan.
just talking to you, Alan. Alan's a good guy, talented guy. He's in the Broadway show Stomp.
In Springfield, is this Springfield, the Simpsons Springfield?
Yeah, I know, Twisted. I was like, how do I not follow him? Like your message went into when you have to approve messages.
Oh gosh.
I feel bad with that because like on YouTube, I feel like Twisted between live streams I watch and then my live stream he's always on. It seems like we're always talking to each other. And he asked me, he sent me a message to find out how much is in my collection. So I messaged it. So I looked. I'm like, holy shit, I don't follow this guy. And then I looked. I looked and I clicked him, and I'm like, holy shit, he doesn't follow me either. And he just commented on it.
Hey, evening, DA Exotics. Andrew in the house.
What is going on, DA? Yeah, so
is there any special projects that you're planning this season, or is that like on the wraps?
So the big project I would say will be continuing the Clown Hypo project. So I am going to be breeding. I have 2 males for that project right now that are ready to breed. A clown het orange ghost and a pastel orange ghost het clown. So I'm going to be producing more double recessives, as well as double hets, and then as well as going for visuals and het. So I have a large collection of orange ghost het clown. So now I'm trying to go the opposite direction now and produce more clown het orange ghost. So that's a major thing. As well as I want to keep going forward with my Desert Ghost Pied project.
Great.
So those are big focuses. I have a lot of rookie males, so we'll see how they do. I have a Super Enchi Lemon Blast that hasn't produced anything for me yet. My Black Pastel Fire Orange Ghost, still nothing yet out of him. My Orange Dream Yellow Belly. I did. I haven't witnessed a latch yet, But I just posted a video on Monday. I mean, on Thursday, yesterday, with my pickups from Nice Balls, and it was a male. It's a pastel sugar, possible OD, and he hasn't figured it out yet. But last night and this morning, the tails were next to each other.
Oh yeah, that's courting. That's court. I call it courting. Court when they're courting.
Courting.
Courting. Yeah, courting. I
So
call it courting. I like that.
So they were doing that today. So I bred him to a bumblebee, Enchi, because sugar and bumblebee are just meant to be. Sugar and sugar and spider. I mean, like one of my favorite snakes is a Cali bee. You know, calico, spider, bump, pastel. It's incredible. It's so clean. The white is so high. The stripe is so bold. I mean, everything that it does, because you know when you mix calico or sugar with spider, it makes that line more defined. And then with the high white, how it's like so close to the top. Jen, why don't you go into the bedroom then? My daughter's whining over here. Honeybee.
I go to the honeybee if there wasn't honey gene already. Yeah, the honeybee.
Yeah.
The hypo spider combo.
Yeah, I have.
This season, I'd have to say that I'm working Desert Ghost. This is the first season actually. I've had Desert Ghost in my collection for like two years, but now is the first time I can actually start not making visuals, but I'm in the same path like you, making double heads. So that's actually what I'm working with this season.
Yeah. Hold on one second. My daughter is being a 100% brat right now, and I have to carry her into the bedroom. So I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
No problem. We'll just take it up from here. So yeah. Besides that, let's see what else I have planned this season. I'm doing catch up. As a matter of fact, my main goal was basically work with double and triple heads. So everything this past season and this current season is just adding on more and more heads. So I'm working obviously lavender with genetic stripe, and I'm also working lavender with clown and pied, and I'm also working desert ghost with pied also. And I have another project that I'm working with puzzle with desert ghost. So those are different things that I'm actually working this current season, but I'm just working with double heads. I'm not actually working to make visuals. But it's the start of the season, and each year I always find each season is definitely new. It gives me the chance to actually to prove out past snakes that I've had, and setting up the groundwork for whatever future projects that may come. I mean, like I go on a morph market so many times, and I figure, when instead of me actually going ahead and purchasing, let me just start making the heads.
I'm back. Oh my God, Jennifer is killing me tonight.
No, I was just talking about basically working heads and making them myself instead of going crazy on morph market.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what I do. I buy heads and I produce them. You buy the heads to have morphs that you can produce.
Yeah.
So you grow your project, and then you what's it called? You produce as much as you can.
The end goal, if anything, is just to make enough byproduct to invest in the other half that I would need to complete the project that I started.
Oh yeah. When it breaks down to everything, it's always a numbers game.
Yeah.
That's why these big breeders are so successful. Close the door. That
See,
door behind you. Oh my god.
oh, that's another thing that I would like to add. Exantic. I need to get Exantic in my collection.
Yeah, we were talking about that on a live stream that you had me on. I love my TSK. I actually had to. I was in possession of a Firefly TSK Exantic male for 1 hour yesterday.
1 hour.
Well, because so Vinny Meyer VIP Morphs bought one from JD Constrictors,
Okay.
and he asked me if I could pick it up for him. He said, "Oh, can you do me a favor, pick it up because it's an hour from his house, but it's 30 minutes from me. So, you got to help your friends out." So I drove out there and I picked it up for him. And then what I ended up doing, Sal actually sent me 2 snakes too, so I doubled up. So I had snakes there at the hub.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so I didn't get to see it, but I had a box sitting next to me for about an hour that had that awesome snake inside, and I mean,
That
incredible.
that is definitely my next investment because I already capped off what I was gonna actually add on to my collection this year. But next year, there's two genes that I want to work with, and it's specific. It's either the TSK or the MJ Exanic, and I definitely want to get into the monsoon. But I can't go all out with a visual, so my idea is just getting a het male. Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I mean,
And you actually gave it in.
I gave it to him. Well, I don't want to owe him the money that it costed. I owe him enough money. I I'm paying off right now with him a super fly. Oh no, a firefly leopard head clown and a pastel OD head clown.
Oh, sweet.
So those additions are additions. They're for the Clown Hypo project. Because then what I'll do with that is hopefully by the time they're breeding, I'll have a visual Clown Hypo male, and then I'll breed the that to them so that I'll hit my visual clowns and my het hypos. My
Yeah,
100% het hypos.
I picked up two males. I picked up two male clowns just recently. I got a red striped clown that I picked up from Bob Wu. And I got a special project clown that I picked up from a friend. And I'm waiting for that to actually arrive to do an unveiling, both of them at the same time. But those males are not going to be available this season. But by the time they are next season, oh my goodness, the females that I have for them, it's like it's it's to die for, to tell you the truth. And it goes back to building my head army 3 4 years ago. It's having them there when you find that right male, and who knows, by the time those males are up to size, I might find another male that I might think would go better with the females that I have. But because I have so many female head clowns, I still got a lot of ways to work with them.
Oh yeah, I love my het. I mean, I keep holding them back, and now I'm producing a bunch. So I wish that I would have produced more clown females. I only produced 2 this year, but next year should be a better year with the clown projects. I should be producing a lot, and this is, to be honest with you, like I was just because I keep on thinking of the long run, the long
Yeah.
haul. So I've been making hats. This is my 5th year producing, and it's the first year I produced a clown, a visual clown.
DEA Exotics had a question about how do you guys think the virus and the economy will affect the next few years in the hobby?
Well, I think that the virus is just gonna. My theory about it is there's such a high demand in the ball python world that it's going to have to acclimate. Right now, we're in this. We're in the middle of the acclimation process, and I think by the time we're fully acclimated, hopefully this planet figures out a efficient way to get rid of COVID from being a danger. Um, but if anything, the sales went up. I mean, everyone that I know that had snakes listed on Morph Market when, you know, around April, June airtime, they sold out.
You know, I had this conversation with Shane a few months back when when it was like basically the COVID was I'd say it was like in late April or May. We were talking about this, and I felt that this year there was going to be a boom of purchases of snakes. The
You're
following
right.
year, if there is a continuation of COVID, you're going to see a lot of people holding back, and it's going to plateau. And the third year, and this is just me thinking because I had this conversation with Shane. The third year, it could be still in a plateau stage, and it won't be up to the fourth when people are confident enough to actually start getting back to some type of normalcy, that you'll start seeing a lot of venues and a lot of shows. But until then, there's a lot of people that, as long as this is prolonged, there is a lot of online shopping, and that's why a lot of people are making a lot of sales on Morph Market or through Instagram, or even through YouTube. I've sold this new snakes because of my YouTube channel. um, but it's going to come to a point after this year. I personally feel it's going to plateau, and it might be like that for the next 2 years. That's why I went heavy in my investments this year, and anything that I made extra, I personally made a decision just to hold on to it and not reinvest in anything too crazy the following year, just in case it does play out that way. And
Yeah.
that's my thought. It's not how it's going to be, but it's my thought process, because I did have a conversation with Shane about more or less about this same topic.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at what's going on now. I think a big part that's causing snake sales to go down right now is because it's so hard to get snake racks. People are doing orders for snake racks. It's taking 3 months to get snake racks. ARS is 2 months behind.
But I kind of think because a lot of these facilities that we're building and making, they had to have their times. Like, for example, if someone had the pre-symptoms, then they have to be quarantined, and then everyone else in that shift, they would also have to be, excuse me, they would have to be quarantined. And that was delaying a lot of the production of not only with racks but basically everything else, um business related. And
Oh
I
yeah.
feel because there was a lot of different information going on how to actually continue working with this, that I feel that this following year that's going to happen, there's a lot of catching up that we're going to have to do. And because there's still a lot of catching up, and there's a new way that we have to actually change the way we work, until a lot of people are used to that new way that we have to work, until we get to that normalcy. That's why I kind of feel that the following 2 years, it's going to get people getting used to something new, to come back to what was pre-COVID.
Yeah. Snake racks in Canada. There are no people making them here. Yeah, I mean, it definitely production of a lot of stuff has gone down. I mean, look at what happened to me. Like this rack I was going to build was going to be Sterilite tubs, but the only place that's carrying Sterilite tubs right now is Home Depot, and the only reason why they have an inventory is because they're selling a 28 quart tub for $8.
No
Every,
joke. I could not find Sterilite tubs here in Puerto Rico. When I went to Florida, I actually bought 16 tubs and had them shipped to me here to Puerto Rico just to have as extra stock. Because
oh
for
my god.
the whole year of COVID, they weren't bringing any. They were not bringing any at all. And I went to every single Home Depot, and Walmart on the island, and we couldn't find any.
Well, I think they're just not making them. I think their production. I feel like their Sterilite's production. They're focusing on certain things. You know, however their team is, because even though there's all the snake breeders out there that are looking for these tubs, that's not their big sale. You know. Yeah, ordered the 41 quarts. Yeah, even the 41 quarts. You know, Target seems to be the cheapest price for them. You know, $10. But when I went to Target, what happened is I've been looking for these 28 quart tubs because I've been I like to have extra, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly how I got my 41 quarts. I ordered it online when I was in Florida. The Walmart website. I had them ship it to me in Florida. Instead of having them ship it directly to Puerto Rico, I had them ship them here to Florida, which would have been cheaper, just shipping them to Puerto Rico instead of going to Florida first and me shipping it. But that's how I was actually able to buy it, because even in Walmart in Florida, I couldn't find the 41 quarts. I had to order it online.
Yeah, they're not there, and I would say that's got to just be overstock that Walmart had. Because right now it's crazy. Even the tubs, like I use 30 quart tubs for geckos, for crested geckos, and they're not selling. Like I used to be able to buy a 10-pack. Now you have to buy the 30-pack, and even the 30-pack's $300. You know, $10 a tub. That's why I'm grateful that it kind of worked out. You know, it's like the silver lining, because since I couldn't get the Sterilite tubs, that's why I decided to go with the Vivarium Electronics tubs. And let me tell you, man, I keep looking at the rack and looking at this creation that I've been working on, and oh my God, I can't wait to clean these tomorrow. I'm gonna clean them up, get the thermostats running. Hopefully I can get everything running by by lunchtime, so that if everything balances out and my thermostats are all tuned in to give the perfect environment for these snakes. Oh, snakes are going to be going on that rack.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah. And it's nice when you do a new rack. It's like Christmas.
Oh yeah.
You know? It really is, especially when you go with like a bigger rack, because then it's like, I have so many different size tubs right now. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 size tubs before doing the VEs.
Wow.
So it's like, okay, well, like when I did this other rack, I just installed a 13 high Sterilite rack 2 weeks ago. It's great. Because now my snakes from 15 quarts went to 28, and then I had my snakes from 6 quarts go into 15. So it's so nice to be able to just do a once over, move everybody into new setups that are a lot bigger, and I know they can stay in there for a while before I have to move them into something else, And now forget it. Tomorrow's Christmas, 21 tubs.
Wow.
And it may end up. Oh no, it is going to be 21, because it's going to be the 10 medium tubs. I mean, just the quality of this tub. If that didn't happen with the Sterilite, I would have never done this. And I really like these tubs, and the price is pretty good. I mean, if you buy 12 of the 23 quart tub, which, just like I said, floor space is bigger than a 28 quart. If you buy 12, the discount goes from $17 a tub to $9 to $8 a tub. And then the 11 quart tub, which is pretty much 2 6 quart tubs back to back. Those, if you buy 10 or above, it's $5.25 a tub instead of $6.50.
And those are vision ones, you said?
No, Sterilite. Here, let me grab them real fast. The cool thing I like about them too is they are perfectly flat on the bottom. No trench, You don't got those notches, those trenches of uneven. So let me back up. Oh, it's this side. So this is the 11 quart. Yeah, it's a nice size tub. It's a really nice size tub. So each shelf, the shelves will fit two of these. But the big thing
And you
is
got
look,
those, and you got those tubs where?
Reptile Basics,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
and I ordered them, and they were delivered to my house in less than a week.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's that tub, and then this is the other tub. This is the 23 quart, which the bottom is the same is 1 inch longer and an inch and a half wider than a 28 quart tub, and it's flat.
Hmm.
And then the other thing is, when you in a 28 quart tub, if you have a 1,200 gram snake in it, right? So the 1,200 gram snake it's not going to be going so high. So there's so much wasted space with that 6.5 inch tub in height. This is 4.25. So it gives me an inch of substrate, and then I still have 3 inches. So I can still, like, I've talked to breeders where they keep females up to 2,000 grams in here.
Wow.
Yeah, so they'll keep females up to 2 grand in there, and then they move them up to another, typically ARS. So a lot of my friends have the ARS. So that's my goal. Well, my goal when it's all said and done is to keep 6 quart tubs for my hatchlings. Then I'm going to go with, I'll have this tub, the other tub I just showed, and then I want to do the ARS 55 series, the 34 inch. It's 33 inches by, I want to say 14 inches wide, and then I think 6 inches tall. So that would be the next step up from the large tub I have, and then the big breeders that I do have that are, I have a couple girls that are over 3,500 grams. I'll get CB70s for them, which is a 41 quart tub.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have right now. I have in my inventory with my racks. I have 6, 3, 9. So I have 21 41 quart tubs, and I want to turn that into 26 because I don't see myself having for a while having over 26 females that are above 3,000 grams.
Yeah, I personally only have like 12 females that are at that point, and those are my go-to females when I breed. But I
Yeah,
have a lot of sub-adult females that basically that there's their first time. This is going to be their first time season, and I have at least 26 for the following season, and it all basically goes on to what male I decide to use, if they're going to go that season or not, or I'll just basically risk another season as holdback for them.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're breeding them, so like if you're breeding a snake and it's right before it drops, it hits 2 grand, it'll be fine in that tub. Because by the time it drops the eggs. If it drops 6 eggs at 100 grams each, now all of a sudden that 2,000 gram snake is sitting around 1,300 grams. It still has to rebuild, and by the time it rebuilds, you breed it again. You can stretch it before it goes into the 55 series tub.
Yeah, that's why my females actually got to that weight, is because I skipped a few seasons with them. Because
Yeah,
since I've always used other females that I have that are more towards visual recessives that I'm working towards, the other females that I have with our basic genes or codoms, I just kept them because they're adult sized breeders that I could use a male visual to them to make more hits that I need. But for the first 4 years, I've been solely concentrating on recessive females before I even got into male recessives. Only this season is when I actually started buying male visuals, because I already have the females for them. But before that, I was building up my het females first.
yeah. I mean, that's definitely a good way to go because America has to be difficult. that's, that's why. Liter cola.
Oh my goodness. Chino, it's 1 a.m. here.
Yeah, yeah. It's late. It's 12:04. I got cranky kids. I did have Junior spray the geckos, so the geckos are sprayed. But it is time to close up. I have to we still have to take down all the lights, the banner. We got to do everything. So we have like at least a 30-minute shutdown, and I'm starving. I got a beef patty on my mind.
Oh God, the Jamaican ones.
Beef patty with cheese.
Mozzarella right in the middle.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, today was a rough day. I got up early because I had to give my son a lecture because he got in trouble yesterday for he was being a jerk to his friend, and I don't know. You know when you walk by your kid, you know they do something wrong. They give you that face where you're like, oh, they're up to no good. So he gave me that face when I walked by. So I snatched his cell phone out of his hand. That little shit grabbed the cell phone out of my hand. And then that's when all of a sudden I was like, whoa. You know, like, are you crazy? You know, like, don't you grab that phone out of my hand, bro.
Yeah, my youngest is 14, so he already knows better.
Yeah, so Junior, you know, hopefully he knows better now. But since he was so like passionate about the phone, I looked at his phone and he's trying to get someone to play video games, but he's like dropping F-bombs and, you know, ripping into the kid in the message. And I'm like, yo, man, don't do that to that kid. Like, I like that kid. That kid, you know, your kids hang out with all different kids. And it's the same old story. One kid, there's always an incident or there's a fight or there's something. And then the other kid's a great kid. You know? That's the kid he was cursing off last night. So I was pissed.
Oh, God. Yeah, but at the end of the day, they always make up with no problem. I mean, like, that's part of growing up.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, man. Well, it was awesome. It was an awesome time, man.
Thank you very much for the invite. I really, really appreciate it very, very much. I mean, like, I got two interviews back to back. I mean, like, I'm gonna hit the hay.
You know what? Maybe one of these days we'll do like a Western,
the West meets the East.
Western, 4 horsemen. With Western 2 horsemen. You know, we'll get you guys both on, and we'll do a trio.
Yeah, I know Shane for a heck. I mean, like Shane's a hoot nanny. I mean, like he's all game for everything. I love that guy.
I never wanted to go to California, and after becoming friends with Shane, now I'm like, shit, I gotta go to Cali.
Yeah, I already bought my tube socks, so you know, I gotta make sure I got my tube socks when I go to Cali because that's like the skater boy dress code down there.
Yeah. Oh. I want to stick like a sore thumb.
Well, Chino, thank you very much. Everyone else that's in the chat and you stuck around, thank you very much for stopping by. I got to give a shout out to Peter for, you know, staying. I mean, like right now it's probably like 7 in the morning his time, so he's not going back.
8 a.m.
Yeah, it's 7 a.m. for him. It's 8 a.m. over there?
Yeah, he was just giving us shit for ending. He's like, it's 8 a.m. over here.
Oh yeah, he's already wide awake. I mean, heck, but Peter, thank you very much, guys. Just in case tomorrow on my Instagram, and I'm sorry to shouting this out, but I'm gonna have Peter on so you can actually see what the Rushki looks like. He's like
Portuguese Russian.
The Portuguese Rushki. He's built like bear. You know, if you ever saw Natasha and Boris, you know he looks like Natasha. Anyway, cool people.
Well, you know, if you guys don't follow BBM Reptiles, definitely check them out. It's got some great stuff going on, and I really look forward to your next breeding season. I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, like everyone has something that I definitely want to contribute and add on to my collection. So, Chino, I'm looking forward to what you can produce and see. I mean, like the cool thing is it's just a plane trip away. I mean, like I put it on JFK and it's a pickup right there with no problem.
Well, once COVID's done, I'm gonna do. You know, I like doing my barbecue, so maybe I want to do a cookout.
Oh, you know I'm there.
Yeah, man. So
Damn straight I'm there. Thank you very much. I will take you up on that.
definitely, definitely. Well, thanks again, and have a great night, man.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Take care, guys.
Later, buddy. So that was fun. I enjoyed that. That was a great conversation. 2 hours and 40 minutes later, it went great. Thank you to everybody that's in here. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you don't subscribe, or hit the notifications. I do my videos every Monday and Thursday, and also, if I only got 4 entries. This week was kind of sad. I didn't put a Project Introduce Yourself video on Thursday's video, so I only have 1,400 subscribers, but it may be people that you don't that don't follow you. The cat's on the fucking table, knocking the gecko over. That's great, cats. That's why I can't stand cats. Um, so it's quick. Hashtag Project Introduce Yourself, and then do at DMJ Reptiles and introduce yourself. Don't say nothing. Don't thank me. I don't need none of that. All I want to see is you just saying, hey, I'm DEA Exotics. My Instagram is at this. My Facebook, YouTube. Advertise for yourself. And what I do is, after the intro, I put your video in, and then at the end of every video, I'm just putting all the Project Introduce Yourselves at the end. So definitely check it out. And Lorga, well, Pete, we'll work something out. One of these days we'll get you on the live stream. I'm not sure who's going to be on next week, but I can tell you who's going to be on in 2 weeks. Actually, I'll tell you about it next week, but it's big, very, very big. Yeah, so that's that. VIP Morphs, give them a follow. And yeah, as I said, just post it on your page and just put hashtag. I check the hashtag before every video I do. I'll download it and put it right in my videos. It's pretty cool. If you see my videos, you'll see them in there. So have a great night, everybody. I really appreciate everybody stopped in. Big thanks to Ron BBM Reptiles. He's a really nice dude, and hopefully you guys learned a little something out of the whole conversation. I know I did.